As you know, friends, I've been fascinated by the role of language, cultural evolution, and biological evolution, and how the brain is involved in all this process. So I decided to explore this in more detail using large language models to address the complex relationship between language, brain evolution, and the potential role of consciousness. Did the human brain grow explosively after the evolution of both oral and written languages? Well, as far as oral language is concerned, here's the breakdown. The development of oral language had significant long term effects on brain evolution. Well, while there's no single explosive growth period, specific brain regions associated with language did gradually expand and specialize in early hominins. This suggests a co-evolution of language complexity and related neurological enhancements. Written language is far too recent an invention, a few thousand years old, to have had a substantial impact on the evolutionary trajectory of our brains in a biological sense. However, it profoundly affects how we use our brains, driving neuroplasticity and changing how we process information. Did did language play a role in evolution and natural selection? Here's the breakdown. Language skills would have greatly improved survival and reproductive success. Those with better communication abilities would have thrived, passing on genes influencing brain structures related to language. Language also reinforces and strengthens specific neural connections in the brain regions responsible for speech, grammar, syntax, and meaning extraction. As language became more complex, it placed selective pressure on the brain to expand and specialize certain areas. This, in turn, likely drove the development of even more sophisticated forms of language. Is the human brain still evolving after the scientific and technological revolutions? Evolution occurs over vast timescales. It's challenging to say definitely whether recent revolutions have triggered significant changes in our brains on a biological evolutionary level. It's too early, but it almost certainly is happening. What about cultural versus biological evolution? What we absolutely see is a rapid cultural evolution. Technology and scientific progress profoundly alter how we use our brains, even if the underlying biology may change slower or in directions we can't yet predict. Does consciousness play a role? Well, this is one of the most challenging questions in science and philosophy. Whether or how it influences brain evolution is a matter of intense debate. Now, you know, this is public opinion or current opinion by so called experts. Some theories posit that the development of language, self awareness, and abstract thought are deeply intertwined as expressions of consciousness. Key points to consider: brain evolution is heavily tied to how we use our brains. So, who's the we that is using our brains? And language is a fundamental tool. Distinguishing between rapid cultural evolution due to technology and slower biological evolution is vital. Consciousness remains deeply mysterious, and its connection to brain evolution is highly speculative. This is what I'm reading from the experts. Okay, so without going into more details, um, cultural evolution is the change and transition of ideas, beliefs, technologies, and social practices within groups over time. It's about how culture adapts, shifts, and progresses progresses through generations? Is it a process in collective consciousness? Yes, a shared body of beliefs, values, and understanding among groups of people is what cultural evolution is. It's the sense of common ground and underlying social norms that shape social behavior. Cultural evolution heavily influences collective consciousness and vice versa. The ideas and practices that prevail within a culture shape the way the group thinks and what they collectively believe to be important or true. Conversely, changes in collective consciousness, a shift in values, or a new social movement can drive cultural evolution. Does cultural evolution follow the principle of natural selection? Here's a summary. Classical Darwinian parallel. Some argue that cultural evolution directly follows natural selection. Different cultural traits, ideas, technologies exist within a population. These traits are passed down through social learning, imitation, and teaching. The fittest cultural traits, those that promote survival, reproduction, or social success, become more prevalent. Um, Despite differences, there's agreement that cultural traits can confer advantages that influence their spread and persistence, creating selection like effects. In summary, cultural evolution and collective consciousness are intertwined and shape each other. The relationship between cultural evolution and natural selection is complex. While there are parallels and selection like effects, cultural evolution has unique characteristics that precede biological evolution. Okay, so what's the point in sharing this with you? I think, there's always been an argument between the classic Darwinian explanation of biological evolution and the evolution of species, and whether this is led by consciousness. I think reading what I just read to you can reconcile biological evolution with cultural evolution preceding it, and cultural evolution being an expression of collective consciousness, a process in collective consciousness, which in turn is a modified form of pure consciousness. So, once again, consciousness being the ontological primitive drives evolution, and this is how it does so. Darwinian evolution is a symbolic representation of cosmic evolution. Let me know if you agree or disagree.